Hello. This is a special episode today because I feel like I am surrounded by a lot of amazing female power here, which I don't mind, and I'm really happy about this, to be honest. I know that you guys know each other already because you guys met in New York because of the fact that Ula just came back from New York and you had a chance to chat, which is fantastic. So first of all, how are you guys feeling after this conversation? Do you guys love each other, hate each other? What's the story here?
Oh, we love each other.
We love each other.
We had a wonderful meeting.
I had a blast. Ula is such an interesting person and a very empathetic. So we had to one of my favorite coffee closer to where I work. I wish you had the whole afternoon to keep talking for hours.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's only expected thing from both of you. I know that you guys like to talk a lot, and I know that we can talk forever today.
Yeah, it was actually one of the hottest days probably in New York, and so it was quite a challenge to meet actually, but it was really good, and actually we discovered lots of common interest as well with Iris, so that was really good conversation, I think.
Oh my gosh, awesome. All right, so speaking of Iris, Iris, we've been knowing each other for quite some time at this point, and I'm glad that you are part of another project that I'm working on. So I would love to introduce you to everyone here. So if I misspeak or something like that, or I will say something bad, let me know. So I will introduce you how I know you. So Iris is a VP of strategy right now at Havas Health, but over 2 decades at this point, she's been in the marketing space as a strategist for one of the biggest agencies around the world, from Ogilvy, Martin, and everything in between at this point, coming from Brazil to New York, and right now staying in New York, and I think they're staying in New York forever at this point. And right now, Iris is focusing on health and purpose within marketing. And as I know it very well, Iris has experience within the immersive space, AI, and everything in between. So I feel like this conversation today is going to be full of purpose, full of the thought leadership that we really need in this space, because everyone is talking about the coolest things, and everyone is talking about, let's create as much buzz as possible, but where's the purpose? Also, Iris was a part of one of our projects that we've done this year, which was Ashes of Inspiration, a game about creative burnout. And I'm really happy that she was there with us, because I know Iris had amazing story to share, and I feel like she's going to share so many more stories with us today during the podcast. So, first of all, how did I do?
Yes, you did very well. I just wanted to add that this is our second very special podcast from Pinch&Dive, when we have a special guest with different expertise from different immersive topics. We found it very exciting, but also very popular. In terms of diving into specific areas that we wouldn't be able to cover ourselves, don't we? But so really privileged, Iris, you could be with us today.
Yeah,
I'm very grateful. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I know podcasts they are one of my favorite things. I listen all the time, and I think today is the best way to learn content and learn about different experiences. And I'm very excited to be talking to you today. And yes, me and Owi, we actually never met in person.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, we have to fix that, because we actually never. I don't know his height. I don't know if he's taller than me or not.
Very tall. Yes, very tall.
Which is always a challenge. But we've been talking and working together and collaborating on this wild of virtual space for so long that I feel like we are best friends at this point.
Oh yeah.
Besides the time zones and stuff. But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
In my journey working with, from now I will age myself, but when I first started, when internet started, I started as a UX designer back then, a UX strategy. And now I see the revolution happen again, like as it's bigger than I think is the creation of internet. Because before was we didn't have anything, and now it's like we have and we transform everything we had. The adoption now on AI, it's faster than it was with internet, because internet, we need an infrastructure back then and people didn't have the device and the speed. But now we have all the infrastructure and the adoption is as exciting as it is scary. Everyone is using, and there is like people seeing like, there's this polarity of like, it's going to take over, or we're going to die, or, oh, this is going to be an amazing tool for us.
We lose our jobs.
I am on the side that is going to help us, not destroy us. I will talk a little bit about that on like, how do I feel like brands could take that seriously and with consciousness. But yes, I'm excited to dive in.
Speaking of brands, by the way, let's pinch and dive here. Speaking of brands, because we are talking a lot, and Ula and I, we also have a hosted podcast in Polish, and we are talking a lot about the infrastructures. We are talking a lot about different big activations and everything like that. But something that is missing, and that we should talk about this even more right now, which is like why we are doing it. The purpose that you, Iris, and I know that you are very familiar with this. You are always leading with purpose. Everything that you are working on, and the products that you are working, the marketing activations that you are working with, you are always leading with purpose. So if we could start with, how do you view this space, and not only the immersive space, but also AI for brands, for marketing, and so the people can understand that there's a way bigger purpose behind this than just cool tech.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I'm, as you said, like more than like 20 years ago, I started working in advertising. And when I first started working with technology, there was a lot of hype. When I was doing a lot of websites, we have the flash that people are doing, introductions on the website, and people skip, go to the next. It's like technology is not here to harm or to hold you, but should be here to help you be more purposeful and more. So in my journey from McCann to Ogilvy, AQQA, and all of that, I always try to bring the team back to why we're doing this, why we're creating this technology that's not just noise, but is actually helpful. And to be honest, was a struggle, right? It's not an easy, especially in the advertising space, because we love splashy things and attention for advertising is a big component of what we do, right? It captures people attention. But sometimes I think we go too heavy on the flashy attention and forget about why we're doing this. In my journey, I always when I was working with Chevrolet globally, and many other projects before, but I think Chevrolet globally was a pinpoint of my career. When one of my projects, one of my clients came, Chevrolet is big in India, and India, the traffic is crazy. And the CMO came to us and said, we need to do, because it was the moment where the cell phones, people were using cell phones a lot where they were driving, and the rate of death was incredibly high in India. So they came and said, we need to do a campaign to, make people aware that taxi and driving standards. And I said, why? Why would you do that? There is no, people know taxi and driving is danger. Don't do a campaign. do a tool or do a something that really stop them from doing it. And we ended up doing an application that used peer pressure to stop people for texting and driving, which was using a voice of a loved one. If you have your device, you grab your device. If you are driving more than 50 miles per hour, you grab your device, and the device release a voice of a loved one say, "Don't do that. This is stupid." This was like 10 years ago. And then I kind of like learned the power of shifting the budgets to do like a TV spot or something. And the clients didn't know. They were not aware like how much, or like, because what they know is like, let's do a message on TV or social media, but like how to build that experience. It's like it's something that's not like at the core of a marketing department, but it's very important and it's much more powerful. This project, for instance, we have 95% of efficacy on people, like 95% less people, like less times people were picking up their phone while they were driving. So it's like it is like it changed behavior, right? Immersive experience and experience, they change behavior.
So it's not just inspiration or just for information, isn't it?
Exactly.
So that's kind of the immersivity helping with the changing.
And after doing a lot of that, I realized that to do things well, we need to elevate like consciousness of the organization as a whole, right? They need to shift their mindset from pure advertising to what is my role? Like, and people talk about purpose a lot. And now I think purpose actually lost its purpose because people like, oh, it's so hard because we have like this idea of like, I have my words, what I say, and I act completely different. There's no alignment between your words if your actions. In Brazil, there's a saying that's do what I say, don't do what I do. It's like, which is not very nice. So when I first started working like in this concept of purpose, I said purpose is not enough. Like we need something that's more actionable. And a lot of like one of my I was always studying about sustainability and how sustainability was the key, right? Like we need sustainable companies, and it's like. And now I live in New York and I see the Hudson River here. If the Hudson River go a little bit up, New York it's over, right? So sustainability only make us just, if we sustain where we are over. There's no more time to sustain. We need to go back. So I'm very interested in this concept of regeneration, which is. And one of the things is like the book that I'm writing about conscious regenerative brands. What is this? Is the idea of consciousness, elevating consciousness in our society as a whole, and business especially, can create regenerative business. And what are regenerative business? They are business that don't not sustain or they don't harm. They actually regenerate the planet. There is one case study that I love a lot. It's called Hero Technology, because people keep saying to me, this is not possible. This is like crazy. Because we see a lot of regeneration in agriculture. But with AI and technology, we can actually we can change business models. And Hero Technology is one of my favorite case studies. What they've done is they study how fungi in nature can eat woods, right? They were looking to the nature and it's like, okay, if fungi can eat wood, can we make fungi eat plastic? And they trained the fungi. They thought they trained the fungi, this type of fungi, to eat the plastic. So, and they released their first product, which is one of the biggest problems today, is like a diaper. So the baby poop on the diaper, the thing grows, the fungi grows and eats the plastic. So it's like
that's really incredible. Yeah,
right.
It's credible. I heard about the also solution where the plastic dissolve itself in salty waters as well. So all those things are just incredible innovations.
The idea of like seeding this type of like ideas is what moves me a lot. And one of the reasons why I decided to go to health and wellness is because I think it's where regeneration starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have there's a lot of studies in women's health and technology and this area that I think I can play with this regeneration and regenerative idea, and like try to develop like solutions and things to brands in that space, because health brands they're supposed to be in nature purposeful, because that's what
they were supposed to be, and they were supposed to be very like purposeful. But you know what they call it about the healthcare and the wellness brands. Most of the time, they are like, oh my gosh, those are boring brands, and. Because I mean, that's a quote what like the industry says, right? Like, health and wellness or healthcare or all of those other like, type of like, industries within the marketing space, they are always like, oh my gosh, this is boring. But how can we not make this boring? Like how to make this purposeful, not boring, and also have like a huge impact within the spaces that we are working in. I know that Ula is working with a lot of AI and immersive stuff, and she's been working with a lot of corporate clients. And I know you, Iris, are right now within the health. But if you can, like both of you, because I have so many more, if you guys can share some examples of the things that like excited you within the space, or something that really changed your like perspective about how can we combine the tech, the purpose, the marketing, and all of those like things together in one place.
And I also would be interested to hear from Iris as well about, I guess the series of podcasts are also about immersive technologies, and it'll be interesting to hear from you how you could use different immersive tech to make that topic more, emotional and closer to people as well.
Yeah, first of all, I love immersive tech. Like all the VR like stuff is like, I always love. I have the opportunity to work on immersive projects here in New York. Those like installations and things like that, and how those things really, really change behavior and change people's mind. And I think that's such a powerful, and I'm also very fan of quantum physics, which is like, it's a whole different podcast, but it's like one of my passions. I remember the first case study that I saw, and I have to talk about the Brazilian case study, obviously, because I always bring Brazilian creativity. I remember when I first saw this case study, I was like, wow, this is like really like how we put purpose, technology, and everything together in service of like a higher purpose, right? Like there is this lab called Hermes Pardini in Brazil. And like how kids are afraid of needles during vaccination and things like that, to a point that some moms don't want to take the kids. If you're a first-time mom, like you don't want your kids screaming. So, and it's like, and they're terrified. I have two kids. My daughter made this for me. So I know how kids are afraid of needles. And she still, like to this point, at age of 13, she's like terrified of needles. She's like, her pressure go down. It's horrible. So what they done it, and I found this super like effective. They create a VR superhero adventure. And if you want to look, you can look into Google, because it's look at the video case, because it's very interesting. And which the vaccine, the vaccine is a journey for the kids, right? And it comes like, it say, now we're gonna put a portion in your arm, and you're gonna feel something like cold, and then they put, so they mirror what's gonna happen in the, because the kid puts the VR and there's this whole storytelling. And it takes the attention out of the pain and out of the experience and make the kid focus on the story. So the kids in another dimension, they're not there. So they basically don't feel the needle, they don't cry. It is such a interesting procedure. And like, if you think about it's good for the patient because the patient is not traumatized. It's good for the it's good for the labs with the doctor because sometimes one kid to take vaccination, they take 1 hour to do a vaccination, the doctor, because the kid's like, I don't want to do it. And no one take the kid, put there, and it's here. It's like you have to do all the, the psychological positivity with kids.
Yeah, it's almost like, when you have anxiety, but if you see something or kind of almost feel close how the procedure looks like, make all the changes. I've saw myself, there was like a few years ago, a big project from Lego. They created like a set of X-ray machines for children to play before the procedure. And this actually lowered the level of anxiety enormously. I don't know the numbers now, but they basically just immersive, it wasn't tech, right, but Lego block experience in an immersive way with the sound, getting ready that it will be loud and what's happening inside, make children really, comfortably going in and letting themselves to have X-ray. So, yeah, brilliant example. And they were actually sending those sets to all the hospitals around the world to actually have them available, with the children units to have a play. So really good use of immersive.
Yeah, that's there's you said like in terms of data, and I'm a data aficionated. Like the University of Texas did actually the clinical trial in United States with VR in cancer care patients. And it's like 130, around 130 patients. They were assigned an experience in an iPad, like a session, like an imaginary guide, to kind of deviate their attention. And what they saw, how doctors, they do the scale of 0 to 10 in terms of pain. The study actually decreased 1 to 4 points in terms of pain they were having during the care, the cancer care. So like, it's like the VR was really transporting them into this different space and making their experience like much more, if you can, pleasant. And like because we know the pain, especially immersive experience has a very different impact in your brain. I was reading an article. It's like not exactly the same as the real experience. It touches your brain at a different level because it doesn't have the smell and all the 4 dimensions. But it really impacts your brain. It takes you out of the equation of the what you're living right now, what your body what your body's feeling, and things like that.
So do you think you can kind of cheat on your body? So when you have immersive experience of any treatments or medical procedure, your brain registered that as a real one?
That's a good question. We should have a doctor here to I have
I'm just wondering, because it's almost like, cheating. And
I have my partner at Havas, Chelsea. She's a PhD in acoustic
next Pinch and Dive.
Yeah.
Call the friend.
Call the friend.
But what I think is interesting to immersive experience, they don't only can help like alleviate pain, but they also can help like change behavior or change or help you like shape. I think like for the project we worked together on creative burnout, like helps identify signs of creative burnout. Yeah. So it's like it's such an interesting experience because you're using a game to kind of help you create a diagnostic. One of the projects that I was working when I was at AKQA, and I cannot mention the name or anything, but I will mention in general, was a study that a woman in California was doing to use the iPad to help identify kids with some level of learning disability. It was a game that the parents play with the kids because it's very hard. Some level of the spectrum is very hard to identify the kid having like some learning disabilities, right? But the specific game with specific activities, so the parents will never like take you to because you take the kid for a pediatrician, a regular pediatrician, and a regular pediatrician is not an expert to identify those things. But like, and what happened is most kids are get their diagnosis at the age of 7 when they go to school, which is too late to try to create a more proper to put your kids in the right place and the right learning and environment, doing the right activities for your brain to develop at age from 0 to 7. So the iPad is like become a tool for you to create this diagnostic to your kids. So if you have any signs, then you can take your kid to a specialist.
We are right now talking about those like different examples within the health, and I like seeing those types of projects when you can really like see directly the impact. You don't even have to get into this data to really see the impact. Something that Iris said about the iPads or the VR in Brazil, which is so cool. By the way, this is Ogilvy project, right? In Brazil. I know that you Ula mentioned something that is something at least a little bit related to what we are working on here, which is the attention and like creating the purpose, like the X-ray, that the ego and X-ray example. It's amazing. I like that the recent, and I think that I showed, I sent this to both of you, the recent project that I saw created by Dept, which was this like how to learn the sign language project.
That was weird.
You don't need to have and that's the beauty of this immersive space in general. You don't need to always have a headset. You don't always need to have like some complicated devices, or you don't have to always go somewhere. Like for example, the space that there's in London. Ula, what is the name of the space? This immersive space in London? That we passed through on Oxford Street.
Yeah, it's a Future Stores.
Oh, Future Stores, exactly.
Yes.
You don't have to go to Future Stores to experience some immersive tech that is going to bring you purpose. And this project by them that was created for the American Society of Deaf Children with NVIDIA was so amazing that you can just sit down and spend some time learning how to use ASL, right?
For learning.
All of us who could should have at least some understanding of ASL. Let's be real.
Do you also remember there was a very interesting medical solution with VR for people to basically get into the almost like a body of people with chronic diseases? And they were able to kind of build empathy, kind of feel like those people feeling when they can't do certain things. And I think that's also quite, interesting educational use of immersive technologies when you can actually see how those people feel, and then you build that empathy. So then it's moving your behavior, right, and changing your behavior towards certain situations, certain people as well.
This whole episode here is all about purpose and all about bringing this tech and bringing those activations all together to really make an impact, not only globally, but locally in your local markets. Like Iris said, in Brazil, or something in California, or something in the UK, or any other country that we want to we want to talk about. And that's I feel like that's the beauty of all of this, is that those things can be fun or they are fun most of the time, but they are very valuable and they are building this excitement within people, and we in general can build this and we can have fun with this. And I know that, Iris, you are working on strategy for a lot of different brands. I know, Ula, you are building a lot of AI things. We are building a lot of immersive words. But the thing is, just having those conversations about purpose and having those conversations about, hey, this is not just a fun thing, this is a must at this point, is going to bring so much more awareness to the people that we are talking to, right? We're talking about VR and everything like that, and we are talking about learning and distracting children and everything. But I know you are both moms. So I have a quick question about, how do you guys view your children when it comes to this tech or this type of those type of activations in general? Do you guys let them use this, or you guys are are being cautious? Are you guys do you guys use this to let them experience those new things or learn new things? I want to hear the mom's point of view here right now.
How old are your kids, Ula? Do you have one, right?
Yeah, I've got teenager, 14, and 6-year-old, yes.
So we have the same, I'm a little ahead of you. One is 18 and one is 13. Lais is 13, Luca is 18.
Okay.
So I have the experience of having one kid. I raised one kid before iPad and another after the iPad. Lais is I can see Luca is less technology driven than Lais. He's a skateboarder. He could just use his phone, but he's a old soul. But I can. My daughter is more tech. But my house is a little different because I'm a tech nerd, and I'm used. Sometimes I know more about the thing that my kids know, which is not about TikTok, but about AI and other things. But my philosophy on technology is I prefer to teach them myself and to explain to them the pros and cons of certain innovation technology. We always had games. We always had games in my house. They didn't become gamers. They didn't spend a lot of time on gaming. But I always, because I believe if you don't let them access something, something that's prohibited is also more exciting. So, and I always had some boundaries on terms of time and when you can access. And we have time off technology when we are as a family, and we try not to be as much as in the phone. But I believe they have to use technology. Is the future. If I don't get them to use, they will fall behind. I keep telling them they should use AI. If I was a kid with AI, I was in middle school. Oh my God, all my homework is so much easier.
Well, what about you?
Well, for me, my both children are technology natives. They had access to all technology available in the market always. I obviously, in a safe way, always teach them as well ethical and safe way to use them. But it's like a part of life. They know what they can find there. They know about AI, almost everything, and discussions about AI is almost daily. My son's, for example, a little bit more skeptical than me about the role of AI in the future. He's more worried about the negative changes that can happen. But we just openly discuss, all the aspects of AI, how to use it. And he's using daily, 11 labs for the voice, or creating AI-generated videos. And yes, it's like a big passion. For example, for my son, who's really into creating different media with technology and using AI quite a lot. But we have a rule that we don't use AI for doing homeworks. But sometimes, it's kind of useful because, for example, he's a Mandarin speaker as well. So when he's got difficulty with the language, he more often choose AI rather than just search, and that's, I think it's a very good collaboration between tech and child experience if you know how to use it and use it for the good purpose, I think.
Okay. I use a lot how to explain to my daughter how this math works. So because I have to explain in a way that she'll understand, and it's different than how I learn in Brazil. So it's I'm suspect. I feel like technology AI specifically has so many applications that we're just scratching the surface, what is possible with this. As the inventor of the AI, he said, we just need to be careful to not create something that's smarter than us.
It's everything, in good hands, it's all good. It's just a worry when that type of technology is so powerful gets into bad hands, bad people that they want to use it for, destruction.
One of the applications of AI that I'm very excited, I don't know how you guys feel about it, is how AI can help us close the gap in terms of health research and sharing knowledge between, studies across multiple countries, cross data, especially when to help close the gap in terms of women's health and the lack of research we have for women in that space, knowing that, just 1/3 of clinical trials are female today, right? Knowing that we have cost of 40 to 45 million disability just life year every single year for women. Or we have if we close the gap in terms of the studies on women's health, we could unlock 1 trillion economic value until 2040.
So do you think that let's say immersive technology or access to technology like AI, do you think is that way of democratizing the access to health advice or, access to information about health for women?
I believe that AI in the health space is going to be one of the most important sectors, especially for women. So now we know that the first use case for AI is mental health. People are using, ChatGPT and so forth to ask questions they will ask a therapist. We know Google is the number one source for diagnostic. People self-diagnose using Google. I'm not saying that we should do that, but I think when the doctor in US, the biggest burden for the system is timing. The doctor has to write stuff, talk to the patient, do this, do that. So if we eliminate all the stupid bureaucratic work that the doctor has to do, they will have more time to ask questions, right? They will have more
to be
time
closer with the patient.
And focus on the relationship that really matters between the patient and and I think yesterday I was actually looking how much the doctors, and it's different in Brazil. I know medicine is a very expensive field to study, right? Which tend to be very affluent, right? I think when you democratize knowledge, you're gonna attract more people in different diversity backgrounds to become interested in become doctors or it's gonna become more cheaper. In the United States, the average age of the doctor is 56 years old. Did you know that?
No.
Average.
No, well, it's a difficult profession.
It's
It
crazy.
takes 15 years for you to become, 7 to 15 years to become a doctor.
Yeah. But even, like things like picture recognition, of, let's say, X-rays, yes, or skin, changes or things like that.
Yeah.
People's eye, it's just not possible to spot sometimes very tiny changes or compare that to something that to the photo of, let's say, skin done in some different area or different country to be able to diagnose what is it. So, and also, the amount of data there is about different diseases, about different health conditions. Having AI, that's the huge saving an opportunity to actually gather those data and have more sense for the medicine to find new cures or, to spot different conditions, which we haven't had before. Generally doctors obviously well trained, but sometimes they're coming across very new diseases or new conditions that they've never had the chance or experience before, and thanks to AI, they are able to actually track and check and find out what this could be.
They have access to all the other country knowledge in one tool. Imagine if AI could combine all the health studies around the world and give access to the doctor, so the doctor can, like, as you said, I was asking my sisters, my family is all dentists and doctors. I asked my sister, she was saying she's also very big in AI. She uses a lot. And I was asking her, did you ever put like a X-ray in drag and drop an X-ray in AI and ask like to diagnose for you what's the problem? And she's like, I didn't, but I will do that. Like to see and to kind of compare her assessment. I'm not saying to replace the doctor assessment, but to compare assessment. Right.
Yeah, of course you can't. You need to have some safety and security around that. But also one thing I remember on one of the conferences I was in New York for women, actually, just touching that subject. What was interesting is that through the menstruation calendars, the apps on the phones, they were able to research that actually, all the working week have been created based on the men's cycles, which are weekly, rather than the monthly women's cycles. So apparently, if this have been done on the women's cycles, the working weeks a month would look completely different, So it shows how actually research on those information to help us understand better how we work, how we are, what we do, when are we are the best at things. And through that information, it was possible now to find out that.
The thing is, that's the beauty of all of this, right? Like, it's touching so many different areas of our life that, you guys can talk about us from like as mothers. Someone who can talk about us as a patient. Someone can talk about us as someone with disabilities and stuff like that. Like, this is such a vast space that really opens so many new conversations that I think that we need to have. I want to ask like the final question for today, and that's for all of us here, which is like, what does it look like when innovation, the empathy, and storytelling come together? Think about this in a way for women or for us, for the society and everything like that. I want to hear what you guys think about this before we finish for today.
Innovation, empathy, storytelling.
Yes.
I think empathy is like really understanding the pain point and the problem. Like you have the empathy to understand, for instance, I will give an example of the case study I brought on the kids, right? Is to have empathy to understand that's a problem to be solved. We need to put the effort and the power to solve that problem. and bring the innovation. Because like some people will say, oh, but that problem never going to be, we won't be able to solve. There's no solution. And be able to think about a solution or an innovation or even a technology that does not exist to bring to life, like the fungi example, like go out of your own way to really create a technology from scratch that doesn't exist. And I think the storytelling is the way you connect that innovation to the real people, because without storytelling, like the innovation exists in isolation, and sometimes it's hard to explain to general people what that innovation is. So storytelling is key to create that connection and adoption for the technology.
Yeah, so I think, as I mentioned that example from Cannes Lions, what's the technology and immersive experience can give us as humans is to experience situation that we wouldn't be able to experience. So then we build the empathy, or we can understand better different situation also in health. If it's about anxiety, if it's about, feeling how other people might feel, and it creates that, let's say, fake environment, right? But safe environment where we can test something before we try in real life. So I think it's a huge role of immersive technologies in advancing us as humans in terms of health, thinking about us, preventing things or kind of be more empathetic about things happening around us. But I also think there is a big role of immersive technologies in taking us for a while in a different space. So just quick example from CES Las Vegas this year, where there were like a pods, closed, dark kind of boxes available during very busy event where people could come in, choose on a tablet, how they feel, how they want to feel. They want to relax, they want to feel motivated, they want to feel energized, and immerse themselves, out of that crowd in the safe space, recharge, relax, get those immersivity around them, some quotes generated by AI, and coming out after 5-10 minutes. That's what you need to actually recharge, refresh, get your head, start thinking again, and join the crowd again. And that's another very powerful way how we can use technologies to separate us and from real life and enjoy real life, but kind of wiser or feeling better.
I love this final statement here. Iris, thank you for joining our podcast today. That was so lovely to have you.
What about you, Owi?
Oh my gosh, I can talk about this for hours, but we don't have time. So I'm going to leave the stage for you guys. And I'm glad that, we had a chance to talk about this. And I'm glad that we had a chance to talk about the purpose within those immersive spaces and AI and everything. Iris, thank you for coming here. It was so lovely to have you. Ula, thank you for this closing statement. That was amazing. And I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Iris, hopefully to see you one day in New York again.
Come to New York.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope that you got a lot of value and knowledge from us. If you want to find out more, go to our LinkedIn profiles and follow us on our podcast platforms. Links in the description. See you soon.